I came into obviously a situation where I was replacing a character, as we all know, and that's
Yes.
never an easy thing. So uh, I remember when I came in for the screen test, I was super nervous, but Jacob really just made it so comfortable for me. And just, I knew from the point that we did the screen test that we were going to have great chemistry, which is, I mean, pretty much the gist of having any relationship on screen, especially in a soap opera. And so I walked away from that just regardless of what happened. I felt really just, I was like, wow, that was actually an amazing experience. And so when I actually got the part and came on set, um, he just made it so comfortable. And it was, we would practice together, of course, off screen. And we're just able to develop a friendship that made, everything feel comfortable on screen. So I was really grateful for that. But it was fun. We had a good time.
Absolutely. Now, did you always know and did you always desire being on soaps? Was that something early on as a young girl in South Carolina? Were you watching the soaps with your mom and others and saying, boy, I would like to be in one of those?
Yes, I grew up watching soaps. I did not watch All My Children or General Hospital, so I did not know much about those, except I knew about Luke and Laura, and I knew of Susan Lucci. But other than that, I really did not know much about those soaps. I grew up watching like Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful and a little bit of Days of Our Lives because my grandmother watched that. So, when I started, you know, pursuing acting professionally, it was actually my mother who said to me, you should really think about trying to pursue being on a soap. And I was like, really? She's like, she goes, I just have this feeling. And so it was my mother's idea for me to sign up for a cast, not a cast, well, a casting director workshop. Yes. With Mark Teschner, who is the casting director of General Hospital. And he's not only an amazing casting director, but he's an amazing acting coach. I don't know if many people know that, but he teaches still on the side and he is phenomenal. So I signed up for his class, and from that class, he started calling me in for auditions, and I auditioned for him for not only General Hospital, but for the spinoff General Hospital Night Shift, which I ended up getting cast on. So um, I thank my mother for actually, having that grand idea for me to, get involved with that class. And then, of course, Mark Teschner for giving me my first job on a soap opera. So, but I did grow up watching them, and I did grow up just really falling in love with the characters. And it was always so cool to me to be able to tune in, and then like you wouldn't watch it for like a month or two or even like a year, and then you turn back, you tune back in and you're like, oh, I kind of still can follow what's going along. It's like it hasn't
Exactly.
really changed that much. So yeah, but it was definitely it was a dream come true because I was able to act with people that I had watched on screen. Bobby Eakes playing my mom, who was on Bold and Beautiful, and Jacob Young, who was on also Bold and Beautiful. So I was being able to, have experiences with people that I looked up to.
Did you ever come across Sean Kanan? He's a great friend of our show, and he was
Yes,
just on a couple of days ago. He's a
yes,
great guy.
absolutely. So many amazing people that I met, they become like a family to you because you're there, so much. And not only the actors, but the hair and makeup people. And, the great thing about soaps is that you're not just like on a film set. So it's just not like 3 months and then you never see the person again. You're there every day. So it's really easy to form beautiful relationships with people, and just spending time with them and getting to know them and their families is really such a plus. So that's definitely something that I miss about being on a soap opera.
You mentioned Anthony Geary playing, of course, Luke for so many years on General Hospital, a
Yeah.
beloved figure,
Yes.
as well as other things he did in his amazing career. We
Absolutely.
haven't chatted since his untimely passing,
Yes.
really not that long ago.
Yeah.
Um, Anything you wanted to share? Any memories about not only Luke but Anthony himself? And were there any funny moments or special moments you remember, either being on set with him or just being a part of that iconic daytime drama?
I think that he pretty much was the face of General Hospital in so many ways, from from the time as long as I can remember, when I was a little girl. And so being on a soap like that, when you have heard about Luke and Laura and seen like their wedding and all this, and then being able to actually be in the vicinity and be around this person, it's pretty surreal. So to have have heard about his passing was just heartbreaking for so many people, for so many of us, that it's almost like you're like, wait, what? Like this can't happen, because he's still so much of General Hospital. But just a phenomenal actor. And the show would have never been the same without him. And I know that there are so many still on the show that are missing his presence and just his genius. He was such a phenomenal actor, so and phenomenal person. So it's so sad that he's not with us. But I know that his legacy and everything that he did for the show and for just the world, people watching him will definitely carry on. So
People say all the time that that star on the daytime dramas, that if you can survive a daytime drama because the scripts are this thick,
yes,
and you're shooting sometimes an episode and a half in one day, and
yes,
then the next day the same thing, because these series have been on for decades and they are on 5 days a week. What
yeah.
was that process like for you, being on set, knowing that it was going to be intense, it was going to be unpredictable, and a lot of work coming your way? What was that like for you? How'd you handle it and deal with it on the soaps?
Well, I will say that it's pretty overwhelming at first, because that there's so much dialogue and you want to show up so prepared, and you're only going to get one or two takes to get it right, because they have to move on. They're like I said, you said they're shooting one episode a day, sometimes more than that. And you don't want to be the one who holds everybody up to have to keep doing take after take. So, but I will say that it is the best. I mean, if you want an introduction, and not just an introduction, but a master course in not only learning lines, but like when you get on set, it's like you have to hit all of your marks, because the camera, you when you go through rehearsal, it's like, okay, I'm going to be standing here, and then when I hit this line, I have to walk over here. And so it really is a master class in how to be on set and how to be a professional and learn your lines, know where you're going, still have that chemistry with your co-stars, and really put out an amazing show. So there was a lot of pressure, you know, and but I really buckled down. I was so thankful for the opportunity. So I made sure that I was always practicing offset, with my co-stars, and just was really as prepared as I could be once I got to set, to try to just bring Babe to life. Like I said, I was replacing someone, so I I wasn't trying to copy what the prior actress Alexa had done, but bring Babe to life in my own way, but also stay true to who she was, because she was already established as a character. So that's difficult to do in and of itself, where you don't want to stray too far from that, but also stay true to yourself as an actor. So trying to find that middle ground is also something that I was facing, at the same time. Thankfully, when I coming from night shift, also, I'd had a little bit of an introduction to what that was like. So when I got to All My Children, I was like, okay, I'm so thankful I had that, because I'm able to step into it and be a little more prepared, versus coming into something brand new and not, kind of feel like I was thrown to the wolves. So I was really grateful.